Welcome to the world of property. Now, you're quickly going to find out 3 ways that you can get into property and make as much money as possible. Now, before we dive into this, I think it's really important for you to have a strategic output from the beginning, thinking about what you actually want to achieve. Now, you might be here going, well, that's all right, Jamie, but I don't actually know what you can achieve. It's like saying you've got to ask better questions, but if you don't know the questions to ask, how are you going to know to ask them? So let me tell you this. You need to be looking at how much money you've got to invest at the beginning. You need to look at your time investment, and you need to look at your overall goals. So let's talk about the money at the beginning, because you might be thinking you need hundreds of thousands of pounds to get involved in property, and actually that's just not the case. Yes, if you want to purchase assets for property, then you actually absolutely do. And you might be going, well, what other ways of doing that? Lots and lots of different ways. So of course you can purchase a property and rent it out, also known as a buy-to-let property, but actually that's not the only way of making money. So first of all, we need to think about our financials. And by the way, I'm going to tell you this right now, you can create a 6-figure-a-year business starting out with £3,000 to £5,000. I know, right? And no, I'm not going to sell you something on here at all. So you can do it with low amounts of money. The next thing is your time. How much time have you got? And this isn't just about how many hours do you want to work, because you can spend 10 hours a week and build a pretty decent company out there, but it's also about the flexibility of that timing. Because if you can only do evenings and weekends, that's great, but I can near guarantee one of the strategies may not work for you. And finally, your goals. What are you actually looking to achieve in the first place? Because the thing is, it's all right, go all the time. It's like, well, where are you going? You need to have a clear view of where you're going to even get there in the first place. And so there's a big difference between trying to create something that's, I'm trying to quit my job in X amount of time, I need to make £5,000 a month, or actually I want to create a big business that I can sell for over £1 million in 5 years' time. Each one of those has a strategy that works for it, and I'm going to go through each. Before that, I want you to download something. So there's a piece of software that I've been using for the last couple of years. I've ended up partnering with them, and they are called Lendlord. The reason why I say the link below is you will get 6 months of premium features for free. And that's just because you are a subscriber of the channel. And if you're not, hit subscribe. But the link is in there. Click on it and make sure you're creating an account, because you want to use that to make sure you've got your one-stop shop for everything on your analysis. And at the beginning of your property journey, you really need to make sure you're using the right tools. And if there is one tool that I would recommend every single property investor has, it is this, and better yet, it is for free. So we mentioned buy-to-let properties. I love boring, vanilla buy-to-let properties. I'm obsessed with it. I absolutely am. I try to buy as many properties as I can. I've added about 5 million to my portfolio in 2023. All of them are boring, vanilla buy-to-let properties. The downside is, God, they take your money. Okay, once you've used your money, it's gone. All right, you're going to get some cash flow from it, obviously the capital growth, but until I'm refinancing in a couple of years, then really I'm not going to be able to recycle that cash. And yes, you're going to have these people going, why don't you buy it, refurbish it, refinance all of your money out? It's like, yeah, great idea, but we don't live in 2018 anymore. Those times have gone, I'm afraid. Will they come in the future? Probably, but that is not today. The aim of buy-to-let is to get high-grade property. Not cheap, not discounted, not shit. We're trying to take advantage of the area rather than anything else. Now, if you've got the money and you're watching this, that is going to be a great avenue to investing in property, because it is the most boring, vanilla way of getting into property. Hence, boring, vanilla buy-to-let properties, right? Now, the more you do this, the more your wealth will accumulate. In general, I would be able to, with my investors, I treble their investment pot every 10 years, which is a pretty big deal, I would say, because if you've got 100 grand, in 10 years, I'm going to turn that into 300 grand, and then we've got that pot to go again, so now we've got 300 grand, and 10 years from now, you're close to £1 million. But let's face it, if you don't have the money, then we ain't going to go very far with that. And that's where we come to the final 2 strategies I really want to talk about, is deal packaging, and I'll get to that one later. With deal packaging, it's really about building a crazy high value cash cow business. Now, a lot of people talk about deal packaging. There, a lot of bullshitters out there. They say, quit your job in 30 days. Yeah, that's not going to happen, okay? Building a big business takes time. Building any business really takes time. It takes effort, it takes self-control, and you need to back yourself. You need to invest in your education, your compliance, your marketing, and really build this out. The great news is you can get all three of those things, your education, compliance, and marketing, for under £5,000. And that is what you need to start building that six-figure business. Now, when I'm saying six-figure business, if you're new to business, I'm talking about annual income there. Now, this is, yes, it is property, but really, property is the commodity that you're marketing and selling to. It's very much a sales and marketing business. The product and service is all based around property. So I think this is great because actually you can build a nice cash flowing property portfolio by doing this. And you're learning as much about property as possible. So how do I do that? I typically package 5 and buy the 6th. Package 5, buy the 6th. Package 5, buy the 6th. And I do this over and over and over again. So I do this at a pretty decent scale now. We package between 20 and 30 properties on a monthly basis. And then I use the cash from that and the profits to then build my portfolio. If you don't know what deal packaging is, by the way, I've done plenty of videos on them on the channel. But ultimately, you've got the property on one side, you've got the investor on the other. You bring them together, exchange the contracts, and you get paid money. And on average, you'll get paid between £5,000 and £10,000 per property. Kind of like an estate agent, but you represent the buyer instead of the seller. Now, that strategy is going to be perfect for you if you've only got, say, a personal loan, a credit card, maybe you've got a few grand cash. That's going to be brilliant. And if you're a little bit time poor. So the best times if you're a startup deal packager is going to be in the evenings and the weekends. So if you've got the evenings and weekends available, this is going to be a perfect investment strategy. Finally, rent to rents. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of rent to rents overall, but it is just my opinion. I know a lot of people making good money from rent to rents. The downside of rent to rents is the fact that you're renting out to multiple people. Just to give you the concept, a rent to rent is you're renting a property as a whole, typically a 4 or 5 bed house, and then you rent out the rooms individually, okay? That is a rent to rent contract where you're renting from this, renting out at that, and you make the money in between. Now, this again actually doesn't take too much time. You can still make 6 figures a year from this with around 10 to 15 hours a week. The issue is, when are those 10 to 15 hours? Unlike deal packaging, rent to rent is more sporadic, okay? So if it's a rent to service accommodation where you rent out by the night, for example, you're going to need to do check-ins, check-outs, make sure the beds are clean, the changeovers are done properly. If you've got a HMO, a house of multiple occupancy, you're going to have 5 separate adults living in that property, 5 sets of problems, check-ins, issues that come up. And in general, it doesn't actually take too much time as such. It's when it happens. So when something happens at 9 a.m. and you're about to maybe start your full-time job, how will you deal with those sort of things? Now, you can cash against that by putting in things like systems, automations, having external people like a virtual assistant being able to help, but it is something to think about. And the reason I don't like it has nothing to do with the strategy. It's the fact that when I started my property journey, what I didn't want to do is give up a job on this side and create a job on this side. And that's really what it is. Whereas with deal packaging, it's a fully functional business that you're a lot more in control of your time with. Now, the main reason why I mentioned Lendlord earlier is every single time that you're analyzing these deals, you put them through Lendlord. You put in the full address and Lendlord does the rest. So when you've gone on this link, hopefully you've created your details. If you go on the analyzer, check it out, put it in there, and it will tell you the short-term win and the long-term play with the investment. So this is good for you if you're taking it on as your own boring vanilla buy-to-let property, or indeed if you're doing deal packaging, it has been a lifesaver for me because I can present these to my investors, give them the full facts and figures, and show them what it's going to achieve over the next 5 to 10 years. And if you haven't done it already, click on the link now, make sure to download it. And the great thing is, it genuinely is completely free. It doesn't cost you a penny. And in fact, with the link below, you're going to get 6 months worth of the premium features, which everyone else out there pays for. I hope this has been helpful, just to give you a bit of a beginning synopsis. And if there's anything you want me to break down about any of those strategies, let me know in the comments. If you are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe and the notification bell. Make sure you are seeing every single video that comes out. It's completely free, and I make them available to help you grow your business and your property portfolio. If you've got 2 seconds, tap the like, and I'll see you in the next video.